far eastern reaches of Nacogdoches County. I would say that this warning is really mainly for St. Augustine and Shelby counties, given that this thing is moving to the northeast and it should be out of Nacogdoches County here within the next few minutes. So if you put a storm track on here, this will take this to St. Matthew Church here by 8:03, Calgary by 8:11, the Newville School at about the same time. If you're in the community of choice, this will be in your area around 8:15. Center, 8:22. This is an estimated arrival time, not necessarily for rain or storms, but the rotation we're seeing here with this particular part of the storm. Again, this is north of Chirino. So again, when you look at these estimated arrival times, again, this is based on its position, its forward speed and direction, and again, based on where we think that possible tornado could be going forward. So Shelbyville, this will be estimated arrival time around 8:25, and then the Center Municipal Airport at around 8:27. So again, this is for a tornado warning that just came down a few minutes ago, and it goes until 8:30. And it's really for rotation we've detected just to the north of Chirino. So if you're in Chirino, you need to be in your safe place as well, even though I think the circulation is just to your north. In all of these communities that are in the path of the storm, you need to be in your safe place. And what that is a windowless interior room on the lowest floor of your home or business. So what you want to do is put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Of course, that offers you the best protection. The more barriers you have to the outdoor elements, the safer you're going to be from any potential flying debris. And it should be noted, we have not confirmed any tornadoes. This is our first tornado warning of the day. This is strictly radar indicated at this point based on the velocity data and some of the radar algorithms that we look at behind the scenes. But again, the rotation is going to be generally north of Chirino and just along and north of Highway 21, moving off to the northeast. So if we look back here, take a look at our latest velocity scans. It looks like right now it's right here, basically where we have the red and green colors come together, like what we're seeing right here. That is where we have that rotation. So this is what the Weather Service in Shreveport's picking up on, where the green and reds come together very close. We call that like a couplet, and that's where we have winds going in different directions. The red is away from the radar. The green represents winds going toward the radar, so where they come together, that usually can give us some indications that we have rotation in the atmosphere, and that's what we're seeing right now. So again, if you just joined us, we have a new tornado warning in effect until 8:30 this evening for the far eastern reaches of Nacogdoches County, but this mainly includes St. Augustine and Shelby counties. And again, this is for this storm. And by the way, there's a lot of active storms. And what I want to emphasize too, if you look at the traditional radar here, which we have plotted, a lot of lightning, and there's a lot of heavy rain in the path of where this potential rotation is going. So what this means is it's nighttime and there's a lot of heavy rain. Odds are you're not going to see this coming. This is rain wrapped, meaning there's a lot of rain wrapping around it. It's not going to be clear and visible to the naked eye like you would see maybe during the day if you had a clear sight view. This is not going to be the case. It's nighttime, and man, there's a lot of heavy storms accompanying where the rotation is taking place. So you're just going to want to get inside, get to that windowless interior room, away from windows, and just trust that this is going in your direction. Notice we also have a couple severe thunderstorm warnings out too for Angelina and southern Nacogdoches counties along the leading edge of this line. So again, we've been talking about today that tornado watch that's in effect. That's because we have these updrafts that are rotating a little bit just based on the winds shifting direction with heightened speed as we go up in the atmosphere. And that's what's triggered this particular situation that we have ongoing out there this evening with this tornado warning. But this is our first tornado warning of the day. So hopefully this will be the last one. But again, because of the rotation, we are certainly monitoring things right now. There you see on your screen too, we have a tornado watch that has been replaced and now extended to go until 1 a.m. local time. And if you remember earlier, we had a tornado watch that was allowed to expire at 7. That was the case, but because this line has not moved through East Texas quite yet, the National Weather Service, in coordination with the Storm Prediction Center, has decided to go ahead and extend and basically issue a brand new watch that goes in effect till 1 a.m. Tuesday morning. So that is basically another 5 hours from now. I will say, those of you in Rusk counties, Houston, Trinity counties, you may get dropped from the tornado watch closely, because once you get behind that initial line, that is when you will basically be in the clear. So if we go back to the First Alert Radar Network here and pull it up. So again, if you're watching us tonight and you're in Crockett, you're in Alto, you're in Rusk, Cherokee County, Rusk County, and basically north of Nacogdoches, you're in the clear. So really the tornado watch is for areas along and south and east of this line, because it's going to be moving in this general direction over the next few hours. Kind of with the individual cells moving off to the north and east, but this line as a whole with time is moving more toward the east-southeast. So those of you around Lake Sam Rayburn country, Woodville, Jasper, those areas in Tyler, Jasper, Newton counties, this is mainly for you, and you're going to have to stay weather alert, because until this line moves through, there's always that low end risk we could see an isolated tornado pop up. And you can see again how everything's moving again. The individual cells moving northeast, the line as a whole is moving off to the east. So again, we've got a lot of stuff here on the map, a lot of active polygons, meaning active warnings. In addition to the tornado warning and severe thunderstorm warning, we also have a flash flood warning out for these areas, including the city of Nacogdoches and Appleby and Garrison, because of training thunderstorms over the same areas. We're talking very high rainfall rates on the order of about, 4 to 5 inches per hour. It doesn't mean we're getting that much, but if you get underneath one of these rain bands, that's how much moisture is in the atmosphere, and that's how much we could see in a few isolated spots. But again, our main focus right now is a tornado warning for much of St. Augustine and southeastern Shelby counties. It goes until the bottom of the next hour. So this is 8:30, and you can see KTRE news time right now is 7:55. So we've got about another 35 minutes to go on this tornado warning, unless the rotation weakens. Here's the latest scan, and right now it looks like if we do have any rotation, it may be north of Denning right there. This is Highway 21. You can see running from east to west right there, so this would be just north of Denning. I can tell you that the radar signatures aren't great, and I have a feeling that there's a lot of interference with the rain that's taking place. So as the radar beam tries to go into the storm at this particular location, not only is it elevated in the atmosphere, but there's a lot of interference with just all the rain and wind going on too. So it's going to be kind of a messy circulation, and we may not see it the best, but that's why the tornado warning is in effect. So just go ahead and take shelter. And again, these are estimated arrival times. Calgary at 8:11, Choice at 8:15, the city of Center, if it holds together, should be in your area around 8:22, Memorial Hospital of Center around the same time, and then Shelbyville, a little further to the south and east, off Highway 87, you're looking for an estimated arrival time of around 8:25. So again, this is mainly going to be, the circulation is now east of FM 95 North, which basically runs from 103 up to Chirino and then up toward the Martinsville area. So this is basically moving out of Nacogdoches County and into St. Augustine County as we speak. And again, if you just joined us, new tornado watch out until 1 a.m. local time, and that's because, again, this line of storms hasn't quite made its way all the way through East Texas. So when we talk about your tornado safe place, we always say your windowless interior room, and also on the lowest floor of your home or business. So a lot of us don't have storm shelters. Very few of us have basements. The ground soils are too hard for that, made of clay, so it's hard to really get underground. So if you take the top off a home or a business, this is probably where it's going to be, somewhere an interior hallway. It could be a closet, maybe underneath a stairwell. Obviously, if you have a bathroom with no windows in the interior home, maybe near the kitchen or somewhere, I think that's going to be your best bet, because the pipes and the plumbing that support your shower and commode go 30, 40 feet below the ground. That offers very good protection. But if you don't have an interior bathroom, your best bet's going to be, again, a hallway, maybe under a stairwell, or just an interior closet. But again, the whole point of this is the frame of the house. You want to stay away from windows or the exterior part near the outdoors, because this is going to offer you the best protection in case the tornado does touch down. Flying debris and those kind of things are going to hit the outside first, and if you're in the most interior part of that home, you're going to have the best protection, because those walls act as a buffer and will protect you much better than, say, if you're in a bedroom or somewhere near the corner of a home where you're near windows, right? So just common sense, but just a great reminder, just in case you may not have that safe place ironed out just yet. So what I'm going to do here is walk over back to the Weather Center. I'm going to go ahead and check to see if we have any updates on that rotation. Okay. Right now, the National Weather Service report does not plan on dropping the tornado warning for San Augustine and Shelby counties just because of the quick nature of these storms. There's a lot of mess on here, so I'm going to go ahead and take off the lightning, and we still have a lot of polygons on the map. Man, we have a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings too. So I'm going to go ahead and move over a little bit, zoom down here, and I'm going to switch modes once again and go to the storm relative velocity. And it looks like there's a couple of appendages. There's one area of rotation, again, north of Denning here, just north of Highway 21, that's now in San Augustine County. And then we have another rotation, possibly, in southern Shelby County, just to the south of Choice and south and east of Jericho and the Aiken communities, basically along Highway 96. So that Highway 96 corridor between San Augustine and Center, some rotation there. And again, I would encourage everybody, if you don't have to be outside traveling, that's going to be your best bet right now because, again, the rain's extremely heavy. There's going to be flooding impacts, and we just don't want people out on the roads tonight, given, again, some rotation in some of these thunderstorms as well. So whether it's flooding, heavy rain, nighttime, and possible tornadoes, that is not a good recipe to be on the road. So we hope that you guys just stay inside, play it safe, and keep it tuned right here as we update you on the progress of these storms. Okay, I'm looking at a special product here called the correlation coefficient. We're probably too far outside the radar range, but what this can do, it's a new feature that came out with 3D radar here about a decade ago, and it can show if debris is being lofted in the atmosphere. In other words, we're picking up on hydrometeors or particles in the atmosphere that are not normally shaped like raindrops, and once they get very heavy or lopsided, it can give us a certain indication of possible debris. I'm not necessarily, though, seeing that at this point right now. So you can see, by the way, a lot of polygons on the map. So the red polygon here is the active tornado warning. But then we have these yellow polygons. Those are severe thunderstorm warnings, and that's for strong winds, mainly in excess of 60 miles per hour. So you can see we have a severe thunderstorm warning, also kind of overlapping the tornado warning. There could be some pocket change hail. And then further to the back, we have another severe thunderstorm warning. This one just issued, by the way. As I go back to traditional radar view, areas around Lufkin, right, and Diboll are getting heavy thunderstorms right now. And as this line moves off to the east, we'll loop it over the past hour. And you can see as it continues to accelerate off to the east, this is going to impact Huntington, Bannock, Beulah, Zavala, Broadus, that Highway 147 corridor, including the Lake Sam Rayburn country. And so this severe thunderstorm warning that just came out for you, it goes until 9 o'clock this evening, and that's mainly for damaging winds of 60 miles per hour. Now, within that, a tornado could pop up. It certainly could be possible in a few spots. But again, the warning is nevertheless just to account for the strong winds that are rushing out of these thunderstorms as they continue to move off to the east at this point. So again, we've got a lot of active weather moving through East Texas right now. So far today, the storms for the most part have behaved themselves, but they are intensifying a little bit tonight. And that's because the atmosphere down here is a little bit more unstable as this front moves in. There's plenty of jet stream dynamics and a lot of deep moisture for this front to work with, which is why we have seen these storms intensify a bit. My hope is the line gets moving a little bit faster so that we can get these storms through East Texas. That would end the severe threat and also end the potential for heavy rain and flooding as we speak. So again, a lot of active warnings right now. I want to also, while we're at it here, I don't want to overlook this, but we do have flash flood warnings out too for a good chunk of East Texas through 10:30. This includes the city of Nacogdoches Center, the Timpson area, Garrison, and if we go ahead and look at the radar estimated rainfall, most of us have only seen rain in the last couple hours, but we've already had some pretty good rain come down. In fact, you can see here on the north side of Nacogdoches, just south of Appleby, radar estimates over about 3 inches of rain has already fallen, and this is just in the past 2 hours. So it is really coming down out there in spots. Up around the Trawick community, about 4 inches of rain. So you can see where the heavy rain has fallen. Around Alto, the rain thankfully has ended there, but you can see we've had upwards to about 3 inches of rain in those locations. So again, a good night to stay off the road. It's interesting, right? We're in a drought. We need the rain desperately, but unfortunately, we're getting a ton of rain at one point. So the drainage and the runoff is not going to be great, and that does sometimes elevate the flood threat when you get these high rainfall rates. All right, so no really update on the tornado warning. That is this red polygon you see here includes the city of Center. It does not include us, those of you watching in San Augustine. This does not include you, but it's just north of there. So Highway 96 north of town as you go into Shelby County, that red polygon is the tornado warning for rotation. And right now, it appears as we look at the latest velocity scans, that rotation that we're talking about, looks like right here, right near the Highway 87, 147 exchange. I'm going to try to zoom in here a little bit more. So this is going to be near the Hursttown, East Liberty areas, also over towards Dreka and north of Patroon. So these communities that are tightly bundled together in southeast Shelby County, you all need to be in your safe place. That also includes you in Jericho and in Shelbyville. Shelbyville, looks like the rotation is just to your south along Highway 147. However, I would also say, though, that I would still seek shelter because it's possible that this circulation could drift up in your area. But right now, it looks like, again, where we're seeing the red and greens come together, as we talked about, there's one circulation here. Looks like there might be another one forming here. All this is moving off to the north and east. But again, this is right over the areas around East Liberty, Hursttown, Patroon, and Drake areas. So again, if you're in those areas along Highway 147, just northeast of Calgary, in southern and southeastern Shelby counties, you need to be in your safe place as we speak. And again, that's going to be the lowest floor on your home or business in a windowless interior room. And in case you missed it earlier, this is a great kind of example. So if you take a traditional house, right, one-story house, if we go up top and take the roof off and do a 3D look-down view, you're going to be somewhere within that circled area, which is a hallway, a closet, a bathroom, anything that just doesn't have windows in it and is removed from the exterior part of your home. That's going to be your best bet to seek shelter. You don't want to do it in a bathroom that has windows, bedrooms, anything that borders up against the edge of your house, because obviously if the windows break, flying debris comes in, and you're very at risk and in a precarious situation. If you're in the interior part of your home, you have more walls, you have more roadblocks between you and the outside world. That gives you added protection. So we want you to do that. And again, this could be under a stairwell, an interior closet, an interior bathroom, or just in the hallway. Somewhere in those areas in the interior part of your home or business is going to be your best place to stay safe. And again, those of you in the Jericho, Patroon, Huxley, Patroon areas in southeast Shelby counties, we're mainly talking to you right now since you are under that tornado warning until 8:30. I will say the radar is extremely, extremely messy right now. You can see here over the past 3 hours, it's just a lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rain, and what's happening is we're seeing cells kind of merge together right over the same spots. And so this is going to be just a ton of rainfall coming down. High in rainfall rates, we're talking about 2 to 3 inches in 30 minutes time in some cases. And so you're not going to see it. Notice the red polygon there, which indicates the tornado warnings for a very small area. So it's not going to include a large chunk of real estate at this time. So in San Augustine, you are not under the tornado warning. You just need to seek shelter, but you don't have any active warnings for you other than the severe thunderstorm warning. But that tornado warning again goes until 8:30. There's your timestamp right there, 8:09. So we've got about another 20 minutes or so. We'll see what happens. Probably one of two things. It either gets canceled or they'll just keep extending it as it moves further downstream and closer towards the Sabine River. But again, a lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rainfall, and as I mentioned when I first came on the air about 15 minutes ago, maybe 20 minutes now, you will not see this tornado if one does indeed form. And by the way, we have no confirmation. There could be no tornado on the ground. This could just be mid-level rotation that hasn't made its way down to the ground or at the surface. But even if it does touch down for a brief time, you're not going to see it coming because it's not only nighttime, but there's just a ton of rain falling. These are what we call rain-wrapped tornadoes. If we do get one, it's just going to be so much rain coming down, reduced visibilities. It's going to come in and out very quick to where you won't even see it. So just seek shelter, wait it out, trust the process, and you'll be able to come out of your shelter here in these areas probably another 10 to 15 minutes once it begins to move on through. So again, here's Chirino, here's Denning along Highway 21. The circulation has now lifted off to the north of these locations. So we're going to go ahead and pan on over. And right now I'm not really seeing much circulation, which is good news. If you remember earlier, we talk about this a lot. We look for the red and green colors to come together when we look at the velocity data. And right now, I am not seeing a lot of couplets or rotation, which is actually good news. But the warning is still out. And we'll put it on the screen for you right here. There it is, 8:30 p.m., so 20 more minutes for those of you in San Augustine and Shelby counties. I will say, those of you on the, I know it's on the edge of the polygon, but if we zoom in here a little bit closer, you can see here, this is north of Patroon, near East Liberty and Hursttown, just south of Hursttown. Looks like if there's any rotation, it's actually on the far northeastern part of the polygon. So I wonder if they may extend that. And you can see that clearly. We'll go ahead and circle that for you. But right in here, see that right there? And there may be another one kind of up in here too. There's a little bitty, what I have a feeling is happening is you're getting these little weak vortices or circulations on the leading edge of these storms as they move off to the east. So again, if you're in the Dreka, Patroon, Huxley areas around East Liberty and southeastern Shelby County, you're the ones that need to be in your safe place. But again, overall, the velocity data doesn't look nearly as impressive as it once was. All right, so some good news here. You saw the polygon disappear from your screen. Just confirming from the National Weather Service report, they've gone ahead and canceled the tornado warning ahead of schedule. Again, not seeing as much rotation with our couplets that we once did. So that is wonderful news. So rotation is weakened and we're not seeing as much. So this is fantastic. So I'm happy to report that. I want to emphasize, though, that we still have a lot, and I mean a lot, of active weather moving through East Texas. Numerous severe thunderstorm warnings in place and these yellow polygons for damaging winds. We've got some of these moving towards Huntington and Zavala right now, also on the southern end of Lake Sam Rayburn, and then some more winds moving over towards San Augustine and southeast Shelby counties and right over toward the north end of Toledo Bend country. Of course, we will keep you updated as we go through the evening. The other thing to focus in on is flooding. Those of you on this Highway 59 corridor, again, stay off the roads because we've had about 2 to 4 inches of estimated rainfall, and those amounts are going to go up until this line continues to push on through. And before we take you back to programming, just want to remind everybody that we have a brand new tornado watch that replaced the one that was allowed to expire at 7 o'clock. This goes until 1 a.m. local time, and it's basically for Trinity, Angelina, Nacogdoches, Rusk, as well as Shelby, San Augustine, Sabine, Newton, Jasper, Tyler, Polk counties. Houston and Cherokee County are not in this anymore. We told you, and odds are Trinity County is going to be dropped within the next hour. I would expect Rusk County to be dropped. Rusk, you are in the clear, even though you're under the tornado watch, because once you get behind that line, we are done with any severe weather threat. So again, hopefully we'll get good news. Maybe we'll be able to trim a few more counties off the map here as you go through the next couple of hours. In the meanwhile, we'll get you back to programming. If we get any significant reports of damage or flooding or another tornado warning or something that's a threat to life or property, we'll be sure to cut back in and keep you updated. In the meantime, you can get additional updates and live radar tours on our First Alert Weather mobile app. Now let's get you back to programming.